Well, I didn't get any videos of me putting it together. Thought about it, just didn't get my camera out, so I'm gonna make this with my phone. But this is the stock tank carrier 2.0. If you watch the videos in the past, I made one last year for wood. It didn't really work all that well, and it was a lot of work to be able to use it, so we really didn't use it. Put it in the tank, but really didn't use it a whole lot. Started up the first time, but it wasn't sealed very well. Chimney didn't work the greatest and stuff, so needed more intakes on it, but never got it back out. Started working on it again. So this one, it's made to run off of waste oil and diesel or waste oil, any kind of oil. In that tank right now, I got about 75% used oil and about 25% diesel. Pretty simple concept. We had one of these growing up. It's still sitting over there. And actually it's in the horse pen where our horses are at now. Same thing, except for the chimney pipe was cut off like right here, and we added pipe to it. Then you have to add a piece of chimney pipe or 4-inch piece of ductwork to it to get it up higher, to get it drafted and to get it work pretty good. But so I figure if I make one, I'm gonna make one with a chimney. That chimney's 8 foot off the top of the tank. Tank is just like 1/8-inch plate. It's 1 foot wide by 2 feet long, and it's 6 inches tall. And then I just cut the holes in it for the 2 pipes. This is actually 4-inch pipe. Outside diameter is 4.5. Fuel tank I actually got from my dad. Came off an old welder, portable welder. It's got 1/8-inch pipe fittings in it, but I got a union here, and I actually had to use some plastic reducers to be able to go to a valve. I couldn't find a small enough valve. Probably could have went to Sioux City and got one. Or ordered one, but this is what I had to use. Started it up the other night after I got it done. Works pretty good. You just I crack it open and just let it run a little bit. Just light little stream, a little bit more than a drip. And then I ripped up a couple pieces of paper, and you drop it down in there and let that oil soak on that. Then I rolled up a piece of paper and lit it on fire, and you drop it down in there, and it lights all that down there. I was having problems getting it to draft out the chimney. It was wanting to come out the intake. So I tried heating the pipe up with the torch, and that really didn't work. So then what I did was just rolled another piece of paper and lit it on fire. And then I dropped it down the chimney side, and then it started pulling the draft out the chimney and actually pulling air, and you could feel the air moving in through here. And you just crack this down to a nice little steady drip. I'll show you. I'm gonna go set it up over there today. So I'll show that here in a little bit. But yeah, I just had a nice little drip, and then it'll stay burning, and I could regulate the temperature. I have a video of that too, or a picture of it. I'll put in here. Thermal camera though, and right away when I had it going, is kind of a little bit faster drip. It was running like 200, 190 to 200. I slowed the drip down, and I was holding about 175. That tank down here was 175. The pipes were 150 coming out up to about the water level or so, and then it started cooling down. So hopefully it'll work. I'm hoping it's heavy enough to hold it in the tank. Problem with the one we had growing up, the one sitting over there now, is it wasn't heavy enough, and it was too buoyant and wanting to float out of there. So we actually poured concrete on top of it, formed it up and poured some concrete on top of it, and for a counterweight to put it in there. I'm gonna take some cast brake rotors with me, to be able to set down on top of here if I need to. I'm hoping it's actually heavy enough. This is a lot heavier than what the one we grew up with is. But I made a cover here for the intake side. It just gets wired on. Still would let air coming in to help keep the rain out or any snow. And then for the chimney cover, I just have a rod that I welded to a can. This is a tomato can that my wife got from the school. But so when we're using it to leave it uncovered, and when we put it out and shut it down, we'll just cover it back up. Of course, that rod's heavy enough to hold that can on so it won't blow away. But I'm gonna get it loaded up. Do have to add a hose clamp or a bungee cord or something to hold the tank on. It's just sitting on there. I got a piece of rubber I'm gonna stick underneath of there, just so it ain't sitting on the metal. But otherwise, just put a piece of rubber underneath there and then hose clamp it or bungee cord it, strap it somehow down. That's about the only thing I have left to do. But I'm gonna get it loaded up, take it over there while the water's thawed out, so I get it down in there before it gets cold the next couple of days. So hopefully this helps combat the ice. Hoping we can just light it up in the morning for half an hour or so and let it thaw the ice out. Maybe an hour or whatever, but whenever it get it all thawed out and then shut her down for the day. It's not something we'd run all the time, but Dad has to carry buckets of water down. He's been filling them with hot water during those cold spells, and dumping it in there to melt some of that ice back where they could drink out of it and have to break ice. But it'd be a lot easier. You wouldn't have to carry water every day. Plus, he can use the hose when it does get warm enough. There's some days that it's warm enough that he can use the hose. Then just drain the hose out after he's done filling everything. But I'm hoping this would help with it. But I'll show you guys when I get it all set up here.